In the heart of post-war Philadelphia, where the air was thick with the scent of coal smoke and trolley grease, there lived a woman named Dorothy Forstein. She was 38, a mother of 3, and a figure of quiet grace. The kind of woman neighbors smiled at when she passed their row houses. The kind who hosted small gatherings with coffee and pound cake on Sunday afternoons. Her life seemed calm, predictable, until the night it wasn't. Her husband, Jules Forstein, was a well-known figure in the city, a magistrate respected by colleagues and feared by petty criminals. He had spent years on the bench dealing with the underbelly of Philadelphia. Thieves, drunks, gamblers. That kind of work leaves a man with enemies. But in 1945, even Jules couldn't have imagined that his wife would become the center of a mystery that would haunt the city for decades. It began on a warm September evening. Dorothy had attended a friend's dinner and was walking home. The streetlights flickered weakly and the trolley clattered in the distance. She was only a few steps from her front door when a man emerged from the shadows. He struck her hard, once, twice, before she could even scream. A neighbor heard the commotion and called for help. Jules arrived minutes later to find his wife crumpled on the doorstep, her face bruised and swollen. She had no memory of the attacker. The police suspected robbery, but nothing was stolen. No one was ever caught. After weeks in recovery, Dorothy tried to move on. She became cautious, locking doors, avoiding dark streets, and staying home at night. Yet those who knew her said something inside her changed. She grew quiet, jumpy. She would startle at small noises, and sometimes she would check the windows twice before bed. By 1949, 4 years after the attack, life in the Forstein household seemed to have settled again. Jules continued his judicial work. Dorothy focused on the children, 2 from Jules' previous marriage and their youngest daughter, little Marcy. Their home on North 57th Street was comfortable, filled with laughter once more. Then came the night of October 18th, 1949. Jules was attending a political dinner. Dorothy stayed home with the children. Around 11 p.m., the house was quiet, the kind of deep silence that only old homes know. Upstairs, 9-year-old Marcy stirred in her bed, half awake when she heard her mother answer the phone downstairs. Moments later came a noise, heavy footsteps, a muffled thud, a sound like someone falling. Marcy sat up. Then came the sound of her mother's voice, soft and frightened. "Oh, dear Lord!" And then silence. Marcy said she heard someone, a man, coming up the stairs. She peeked from her room and saw a figure, tall and broad, wearing a brown hat and coat. He bent over her mother's unconscious body, lifted her as if she weighed nothing, and carried her down the stairs. The little girl asked, "What are you doing to my mommy?" The man paused, turned slightly, and said in a low voice, "Go back to sleep, little one. Your mommy's fine." He then walked out the front door, carrying Dorothy in his arms. The door closed behind him, and that was the last time anyone ever saw Dorothy Forstein. When Jules came home around midnight, he found the house locked from the inside. The children were asleep. Dorothy was gone. Her purse, her keys, her coat, all left behind. The phone receiver lay off the hook. The police arrived within minutes. They searched the house, the yard, the surrounding blocks. Bloodhounds found no scent beyond the front steps. There was no sign of forced entry. It was as if Dorothy had been lifted from her life and erased from the world. The newspapers called it the Forstein mystery. Reporters swarmed the house. Neighbors whispered theories that it was revenge or madness or something darker. The police interrogated Jules again and again, but there was no evidence, no body, no motive that fit. Years passed. Jules eventually left the bench. Marcy grew up haunted by the image of the man in the brown coat. The older children never spoke of that night again. The Forstein home was sold. The mystery remained unsolved. To this day, no one knows what became of Dorothy Forstein. Some say her husband's enemies took revenge. Others believe she fled, terrified, starting a new life under another name. But the most haunting theory is the simplest, that someone she never knew, someone from the shadows, came back to finish what he started 4 years earlier. Some nights, people in that Philadelphia neighborhood say the old Forstein house still feels wrong. That you can hear the faint sound of footsteps on the stairs, or a woman's soft voice saying, "Oh, dear Lord," carried by the wind. And somewhere, in a dusty police archive, lies a file marked Forstein, Dorothy, Missing Person, 1949. It holds only photographs, interviews, and silence.